Well, hello once again, everyone. Basically, today, this is going to be the first part and probably what might end up being a series. Just kind of exploring fingerstyle soloing and improvisation. So, like no tapping or anything, just chords and lines and other techniques and kind of like what I call textures and architectures, approaches and things like that. Basically, when it comes to just improving with some chord changes, and your own accompanist. You got no backing or anything like that. You're just trying to improv with just your guitar in a more conventional way. So one of the things that's kind of interesting about this approach, though, is that it's kind of more lends itself to certain types of free-flowing improv ideas, like chord melody specifically. There's a lot of chord substitutions that you can throw in because it's kind of easier to grab them than having to think what would it be with two hands or something. Or there's just different techniques of playing like 2 or 3 notes segments with different rhythms and things. I'm going to go over a lot of different things, and it kind of encapsulates styles. So it would be like I'm going to go through several different applications in terms of style where you could put this stuff and how you would apply it and how you would learn from that, just thinking of things in terms of style. Because there's like Latinized ways of approaching it. There's like more of a blues way, more of a funk way, more of a like a jazz way. There's more of a jazz ballad way. So we're going to go over a lot of those different things. I don't know that I'm going to get to all of the things that I've written down in one episode, but this should be pretty interesting. So let's jump into it. Okay, so before we get started, if you want to try to play along, I'm just going to play some notes on my guitar so you can tune to it. Okay. So pretty much I feel like the big secret to this kind of style or this approach is what we're trying to do is kind of keep the harmony visible in our mind. So while you don't really have to have every chord be played in a series of changes the entire time. But the substitution, the trade-off is that whatever line you're playing or whatever idea, it has to convey harmonically what that chord is doing. Or if you don't want that sound in that particular chorus, then screw it. The focus is on those chords and then that line, which may or may not be completely sticking to the harmonic outline. But for our purposes, I was really thinking more about sticking to the harmonic outline as much as possible. So, sorry. The intro that you heard was this tune of mine called Nighttime. It's on my album Electric Duality. And there's a music video of it here on this YouTube channel. But basically, the chord changes are like this. And I do a bunch of different variations. So this isn't technically the first thing that I want to show you or get into. I just wanted to cover that because it was in the intro, and then kind of loosely explain kind of the general philosophy that I'm trying to adopt here, which is, you know, if I drop a chord and don't play it, so maybe if I don't play this chord, maybe I play more of an arpeggiated figure. So right there, you hear the chord, but the trick to this is that the rhythm of the changes plays a role in what we're doing too. So it's almost like counterpoint and call and answer or something, in the sense that the chord changes are not just, they're not just, you know, like vaudevillian type thing or something. It's a little more rhythmically placed, and it has its own statements. And then the line is kind of independent but interlocked with it at the same time. So that's what we're trying to get at, is the two of the things dancing together in contrapuntal call and answer territory. There's, with that, there's all kinds of different devices and techniques that we could do. And then that's a very deep subject. So like in future videos, I might end up going into individual, like this is a specific video on just playing like dyadic harmony, you know, like double stops, you know. Okay, so just something real basic like that. And you can just kind of insert a little phrase of that or two here and there. It doesn't have to be an entire chorus of it, right? So there's also a little bit of the thing that I was getting ready to dip into. And I do throughout the initial intro is broken chords, you know. So, you know, taking the chord and then just rolling it or playing it rhythmically in time. So whereas you could go like, right, you can go. See, okay, there's a lot of information there. But that's another technique. So and what's beneficial about it is that you're not breaking the continuity of the line. So the real trick is to really figure out where to put your lowest note. So you want to be kind of like, roughly in those spots where it changes, you know, it's like. So you can kind of hear where I'm hitting that lowest note. It's like, and this kind of gets into what I was talking about earlier with the styles. This is more of a funk kind of approach to it, kind of like where the bass lines are going. Not necessarily the lead, though, not necessarily the melody. So like I'm kind of blend styles and approaches in a way that just makes sense sometimes. It has nothing to do with like making it all one style, just to say that it is for purity's sake or something. It's just like whatever works. So there's one way of doing that. There's also the idea of just playing like bass notes, right? So we could do, you know, so that's kind of just like a bass line, hitting a bass note, hitting a note on top, playing the line on top. And it's kind of like they start dovetailing, and you hear like a bass doing an answer to a call from the melody. You know, and it gets, but the other approach is to simply just like hit the bass note and hold it as long as possible while the melody note is on top, you know. Okay, so there's another thing. And a lot of that is just like you're studying kind of classical type techniques and things. You're kind of learning, oh, here's a 10th, you know, here's a minor 10, and then here's this, and then if I'm playing this and then I'm playing a lead line descending, I can kind of hit that note, and oh, there's a 6, there's a 7, you know, and just kind of finding ways. And I guess kind of what the trick is like you want your melody line to be uninterrupted as possible. That's like kind of what we're trying to study here. So I may just keep on ascending, right, while the chord changes are doing what they do, but the bass line is moving from there to here. So it's kind of compensating, you know. If I'll do this slowly. So you see what you kind of see what I'm getting at. Hopefully, most of our cognitive focus is on the melody line on top. Okay, so so that's kind of like what we're thinking about as we're doing this. And then the bass line is just picked up where we know those notes are underneath. And then that's pretty much like very, very simple two-part. Well, it's not simple with the melody part as much because there's some stuff going on, especially when it's up to tempo. But the bass part is relatively simple. It's just like establishing, here's the tonal center, now it's changed, you know. Like that's kind of what we're going for. Yeah, so the other thing I did in the intro was I had the lead part go to the bass register. Well, for the guitar, the bass of the guitar register, you know. So instead of soloing up here, we're soloing down here on mostly these two bottom strings. So and with that, you can kind of think of your upper structure chord parts as being like little keyboard, you know, like rhythmic hits here and there, right? So, and then at the end of that, I started calling and answering from bass to the upper part. And what's cool about that is that you can just take all your chord knowledge and just break it up into lines and add little modal and chromatic things. And then, I mean, there's like I say, there's endless possibilities with this. You can take it and then work like really chromatic stuff, you know. Like that kind of thing. Like anything you can think of texture-wise, musical textures to things to change it up, you know, and then working out different substitution chords. There's a section in there where I do all these kind of things, you know. Yeah, I mean, really, like the possibilities of it are more or less endless. But it's a different thing from the two-handed tapping that I do. Because with that, it's more like I can really focus on what my right hand is doing. And he maintained the harmony throughout the whole thing, you know. So it's like a totally different approach that makes you think differently and play differently. And that's what I like about this specifically. So let's actually, I wasn't going to start with that. That was my intention, but I wanted to get through that just to give you some different examples because you did hear the intro. So hopefully you didn't just skip over here. But that's okay too. So I thought what we would do is just like maybe like take a G blues and work through with that. Like, so